You're listening to the Intercoastal Podcast, part of the Destination Marketing Podcast Network. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Intercoastal Podcast. I'm Daquan Mickens, and today we're diving into one of my favorite topics, hitting the beach here in Beaufort. Whether you're a local or visiting for the summer, we've got some tips, hidden spots, and a few stories to share. And to help me do this today, I'm joined with none other than Robb Wells, President and CEO of Visit Beaufort, Port Royal and the Sea Islands. Robb, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh man, thanks for having me, Daquan. Excited to be here and talk about one of the best parts of living and visiting in this area, our beaches, right?
Oh yeah, that's always the great thing about coming to Beaufort. So let's get started and grab some sunscreen, folks. It's time to dive in. So Robb, let's start off with the big question. What makes a local beach stand out here from the rest?
Well, I think it's, our beaches really capture the essence of the low country. Taking Hunting Island State Park, for example. I mean, it's got 5 miles of pristine shoreline. There's this cool historic lighthouse. But like I share with people all the time, like the best part about the beach here is that when you walk out into the middle of the water, ankle deep, turn back around and all you see is trees and beach and the lighthouse. And the fact that it is just pristine and keeps that same look and that maritime forest in the backdrop is just amazing. And it adds a little bit of a different vibe to it. The vibe is relaxed. You don't feel like you're in a hustle and a bustle, and you're not going to find the crowds. And at 5 miles of shoreline, tons of people, can be at the beach, and yet still plenty of space to have your own thing to do. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just getting back from one of my trips, and that was one of my pitches to operators and people trying to come to Beaufort is, it feels like a private island when you get out there on the water and you turn around and there's not condos and restaurants right there in your face, lights shining in your face. It feels like you're away. So you actually get to take that deep breath and feel relaxed.
Absolutely, especially if you're out there with kids and you're trying to explain just the safety and this, just being out there on the beach. I mean, we've been out there and it, the parking lots are full of cars, and yet there's not a family anywhere near you.
Yeah,
and that's a cool feeling.
Yeah,
cool feeling.
That's definitely one of the points I touched
Absolutely.
on. No one right on top of you if you're in your own bubble. Okay, let's break it down. If someone's planning a beach day, what are the top spots you would consider?
Well, let's definitely start with Hunting Island State Park, right? So it's a favorite for families and adventure seekers alike, mainly because they got so many trails out there at Hunting Island State Park. So there's a lot to do besides just go splash in the water. Then you got Sands Beach, which is over in Port Royal. A great place to go find shark's teeth. At some point you have access to drive the car out there on the sand. But it's perfect for picnics and even a little, shark tooth hunting, fishing kind of side items. You have a couple of other different aspects. You have Harbor Island Resort, which you can gain access to if you're staying on Harbor Island, or Fripp Island Beach Resort, which is a fantastic family getaway, and I encourage people to visit the beaches there too. But from a public setting, Land's End Beach over in St. Helena, very secluded, kind of unique, but amazing sunset views. And that access in with Fort Fremont over there, fantastic sunset views over there on the water.
Yeah, I agree. Those are great spots to get out and enjoy the beach. My wife's a person who can't sit still at the beach, so she likes to get up, walk, and loves to go walking on Hunting Island and just like where the boneyard used to be.
Oh, yeah. The boneyard's good.
Or walk to the lighthouse and then walk back. I'm a beach guy who just likes to get out there and take beach naps, so that's my type of beaching. But for those who like to be active or get as much as they can from the beaches, that's all our beaches. They definitely hit the spot. Timing is everything. When it's the best time to head to the beach, what would you say?
I mean, early mornings, late afternoons. I know you get out there early, kind of get your setup going there. We have to be out there about mid-morning for my family, but I'm got two smaller kids.
I was gonna say, I understand.
2 teenage daughters, and so it's it's different for us. We can't be out there early morning. So going in the afternoons sometimes a benefit for us. Depending on the time period that you're going, definitely take a look at the weather app, what's going to happen. But going to Hunting Island State Park, you want to get there a little earlier, get your spot, get set up. Kind of do it before lunch. We grill out at the beach. Hunting Island's got plenty of places to grill out. We also do that at Sands Beach too. We'll take the portable grill and kind of set up out there. Although, the space is a little different and the viewpoint's a little different.
I agree. I like to get out there kind of in the evening as the sun's setting. It's perfect. You get out there about 3 o'clock. You get the best of both worlds. So you get the sun, so you kind of get that sweat, and you can get in the water and cool off. But then you also get to stay there longer because the sun's setting. So now it's starting to get cool, and you're not in the hot of the day anymore. So it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and you also have to look at the way the tide charts are. You know, we're a tidal community. Even our beaches are tidal.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of watch what's happening. If you're someone that likes a lot more sand, then you want to go to low tide at Hunting Island.
Yeah.
There's some tidal pools that will pop up at low tide. My kids love those.
Yeah.
Those are perfect because you got the ocean and the waves, and then you got these little tidal pools that have hermit crabs and sand dollars and whatever else is floating around in it. That's just as fun as swimming in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And it's like your own personal pool for the kids too. They get to be in the water without being down in the water and having to worry about them.
Fun times all the way around.
Yes, I agree. So what should people bring for the fun and safe beach trip?
Well, it's like you led off with pack the sunscreen. You definitely need sunscreen, the basics, right? Insect repellent. Lots of water, lots of snacks. Not all of the beaches that we've mentioned here today, Land's End, even Sands Beach, they don't have a on-site gift shop or any food or availability like that. That doesn't mean there's not some around. Like our good friends at CC Honey Hole are right there by Sands Beach. You can drop in and grab whatever you might have forgotten to pack or whatnot. But they're right there. Hunting Island does have a gift shop, and they do sell some of the essentials and snacks. But pack your food. But I would also say that be mindful of the local wildlife. It is a maritime forest out of Hunting Island State Park.
It is.
They didn't get rid of all the wildlife from deer and maybe some other shorebirds. Dolphins are going to be present. The occasional turtle out at Hunting Island, especially with turtle season being now. Stay away from the netted up turtle's nest. If you find a nest that hasn't been secured, let somebody at the park know immediately so that they can get identified. These are just some basic things to kind of make the experience cool. But there's my kids love it. I love it personally. I love seeing where they've marked the turtle's nest just to see how populated they are on the island. Those are very cool. And listen, check that tide schedule. The water moves in and out pretty quick. And so you want to make sure that you are paying attention to your setup. A quick story about a family friend of ours who went to the beach, set up pretty close, all this beach, and the next thing you know, within an hour they're backpedaling because their stuff was getting wet because the tide was coming out. So make sure to check that. But it's a fun time. Yeah,
it's always good. And one thing I would like to say is that our beaches are handicap accessible and handicap friendly. So whether it's a wheelchair or you're a little older and need a walker, or you got to get down to the beach, there's no issues with our beaches because they're pretty accessible compared to most beaches. I know you spent plenty of time at these beaches. Got any personal stories or hidden gems to share?
Well, yeah. Listen, one of my favorite memories was watching a pod of dolphins early in the morning out at Sands Beach, watching them play. And the cool thing is that you could tell that the pod had some new baby dolphins there. And so you see this little dolphin. It was just absolutely fun to witness and watch them in their ecosystem and living. And of course, I mentioned at Hunting Island, and my family loves to cook out at Hunting Island. And so we did burgers and dogs one time. We've done low country boil, those type of things.
Yeah.
Fantastic time to have.
One of my favorite memories I have is actually going to Hunting Island. My in-laws would come and camp out at Hunting Island. They would do it every year, and they would stay at the campsite, which is one of the reasons people love Hunting Island, is because you can actually camp and go to the beach, whether it's an RV or, you just pack tents, and they have camping sites where you can set everything up. But they set up tents, and we went out to the beach for that day, and we were able to come back. And when we got back to their tent site, it was about 5-6 o'clock for dinner. We were able to make some fajitas right there on the fire. So how often can you have fajitas on the beach outside and just kind of sit as the sun's setting, and it's cool and relaxing? That's definitely one of my favorite memories about going to Hunting Island. So it's always a great time here in Beaufort. No matter which beach you choose, you're going to find something that fits your hidden gem or have a personal story. Before we wrap up, let's cover some practical stuff. What should people know about parking fees, facilities, anything about when they visit?
Okay, that's good. Hunting Island has an $8 entrance fee at the gate, with parking, restrooms, and a nature center. The nature center is cool for kids, by the way. I mean, and for adults too. There's a pier and there's alligators and stuff like that. It's really cool. Sands Beach is free, but be sure to bring cash for the snacks and supplies that I mentioned earlier. Land's End is more remote. Now listen, this is not a full-fledged walk-out boardwalk type of scenario, so you're going to want to pack everything you need for the day there. There's a remote entry point in there, but all three offer tremendous things. And I think you mentioned about Hunting Island being handicap accessible earlier. That is one of the biggest draws. Our state parks in South Carolina have a handicap accessibility to them. I think back of many stories where people have gotten to have different disabilities or whatnot. They make every accommodation. The Rangers are tremendous in making that day happen. So plan ahead, call ahead. You can always work with us here at the Visitor Center to help arrange some of those accessibility issues at Hunting Island State Park.
Yeah, and then some of the closed parks as well, like Fripp Island and Harbor Island, Cat Island. Yep. If you're going to get on the water or just kind of look out at it, they definitely do everything they can to help you. So just contact the provider of where you're staying or anything like that, and they'll get you taken care of and make sure you have an enjoyable beach day.
And, when you're talking about the beaches and say like a Harbor Island or Fripp Island, they have amenities on site that are just add to being there. And, if you're looking for that beach vacation at Fripp Island, so just for example, they have pools and golf and kids games and arcades, but also plenty of snacks and retail opportunities there to fulfill your needs. But that's again, all of those beach excursions have their things. We just want to make sure everybody's well prepared.
Thanks, Rob, for joining us on the podcast today and giving us a glimpse into everything that makes, beaching in Beaufort so special. Do you have anything for the listeners just before they plan their trips to come to Beaufort and kind of just enjoy the beach day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just, first off, I love talking about this place we call home. So much fun to sit and discuss about what we get to live with every day. But we just take a look at the full list of beaches. Tips, event information, all that stuff you can be found on BeaufortSC.org. And, always remember to tag us on Instagram and social media at #LoveBeaufort, and we'll get those beach day posts shared with the world.
I agree. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Intercoastal Podcast. We hope we've inspired you to find your intercoastal wherever your journey takes you. You can follow us on social media at visit_BeaufortSC on Instagram or at BeaufortSC on Facebook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review, and share our podcast with others who love the Lowcountry. We'll talk to y'all next time. This has been another episode of the Intercoastal Podcast, hosted by Daquan Mickens and the team at Visit Beaufort, Port Royal, and the Sea Islands. Produced by Revolt.